Hi there. We are going to learn the third canon for the Advent season today, and this is a setting of Jeremiah chapter 33, verses 14 through 16, and it's called Behold, the Days Are Coming. I'm here with my friends Sophie and Elinore, and we're going to sing this for you once in unison, 2 more times as a 3-part canon, and once we've done that, we'll teach you each phrase, and then we'll piece it back together as a group afterwards so that you can make an attempt at singing with us. So this is what it sounds like from the beginning. Ready? Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days and at that time I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land.
Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I've made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. The days are promise I made I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. I will fulfill and he shall execute justice and righteousness in Israel and the house of Judah. And he shall execute justice and righteousness to spring up for David. I will fulfill the days are coming, justice and righteousness of Israel and the house of When I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house when I will fulfill those days and at that time I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. And that's what it sounds like. So there are 4 phrases here, which means even though we're singing it as a 3-part canon, if your family or friend group is, if you're just a bunch of singing heroes, you could even do this in a 4-part canon. We'll be teaching each phrase. I think we'll break up the second and third phrases in halves. The first phrase, however, is very easy to learn because it has precisely 2 notes. So I'll sing it, you'll repeat after me, and Sophie and Elinore will be singing with you. Sounds like this. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord.
Doesn't get much easier than that. So now the second phrase we will break in half just to make it a little bit more easily digested. So the first half, when I will fulfill the promise I made.
When I will fulfill the promise I made.
Okay, then the rest of it starts on the same note. To the house of Israel and the house of Judah. To the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Good. Back to the beginning of the second phrase, and we'll put those 2 pieces together. Sounds like this. When I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah.
When I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah.
Okay, now that of Judah there, even though we included it as the end of the second phrase, really overlaps into the third phrase. So I'm going to treat of Judah as also the beginning of the third phrase, and that also will break in halves. So this sounds like this: of Judah, in those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch. Try it here. Of Judah,
in those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch.
Okay, then that's the next half there is real short, but we'll just do that in isolation. After branch, we sing, to spring up for David. Try it here. To spring up for David. Good. Put those together. Sounds like this. House of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. Give it a shot right here.
Of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David.
Good. The fourth phrase, the only tricky part about this one is that it starts with 3 beats of rest. So we're going to start on the and of 3, or after David, we're counting David, 1, 2, 3, and then we come in, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. Try it. 1, 2, 3.
And he shall execute justice and righteousness.
Let's try that one more time. Here's 1, 2.
And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land.
Okay, now we're going to go back and try the whole thing all together in unison twice. If you need to isolate those phrases a few more times or repeat them several times before you move on, go ahead and do that. But we're going to sing it twice through, and then we'll try to piece it back together as a canon after that. So, from the beginning. Ready? Here we go. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. 1, 2, 3.
And he shall execute justice and righteousness
in the land. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David.
And he shall execute justice and righteousness
in the land. Good. Okay. So one thing you'll notice right away if you were to start singing this at home by yourself without us is it's very easy to start the first phrase too fast because it's so slow moving and so simple. But by the time you get into the second and in particular the third phrase, once you're having to sing in those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch, you're not going to want to have started too fast. So think in your mind, what will that most active, most difficult third phrase sound like? And then pick your tempo that way. For our purposes right now, you don't have to worry about it because we'll be choosing the tempo. You can sing with us all together. You can sing as a group along with Sophie, who will be starting it. Or if you want to separate out into 2 or even 3 canon parts, I'll be coming in second and Elinore will be coming in third. So here we go right from the beginning. We'll go, I think, 3 times through like this. Ready?
Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when
Behold,
I will
the
fulfill
days
the
are
promise I've
coming,
made to the house
declares
of
the
Israel and the house When
I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house
when
of
I will
Judah.
fulfill
And
the
those days and
promise
at
I
that
made
time I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. Behold,
And
days
he
are
shall
coming,
execute justice and
declares
righteousness
the
and the land.
when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Those days and at that time I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. Behold, the days
He
are
shall
coming,
execute justice and
declares
righteousness
the
and the land.
when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Those days and at that time I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David. And he shall execute justice and righteousness
to spring
in
up
the
for David.
land.
And he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land.
And that's what it sounds like. I hope you had fun. I hope you were moderately successful singing it together, and you can obviously continue to practice as a family. And thanks for joining us.